What are the essential American songs? On this 250th birthday of these United States, we've put that question to dozens of notable Americans. The result, Sunday morning's Essential American Songbook. Here's a sampling.
It's a great question. What makes a great American song?
Hi, I'm Ken Burns, a documentary filmmaker.
I'm Misty Copeland.
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'm Jesse Eisenberg.
What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it.
Got my chips cashed in, keep trucking. Get your kicks on Route 66.
I can't be the only person that put American Pie on the list.
So bye-bye, Miss American Pie.
There's so much about it that makes it a great song.
The levee, but the levee was dry. I was just up in a little bedroom of a little house that I had, and I started singing a long, long time ago. And I started writing it down. Oh, that sounds good. I like that. And then I started going with it, and started the memory of the death of Buddy Holly came along, and but I didn't want to say that. So I said, February made me shiver. I just really went back in time to when I was a paper boy.
There are websites, college courses,
I know,
books dedicated
yes,
to deciphering American Pie. Are they wasting their time?
It's meant to be vague because it's meant to be a dream. It's a cautionary tale written to America about what happens when the spirit goes out of something, and when you start to put commercial things ahead of beauty and poetry and literature.
Jolene, 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 Jolene.
Dolly Parton's Jolene, one of the most extraordinary 2.5, 3 minutes that I have ever heard in my life. Takes the old familiar, I love you, you love me, you left me, I'm sad you left me, I had to leave you, the stuff, and turns it more to a conversation about love between two women, and the heartache and the unspoken, as well as in the case of this song, plaintive plea. Please don't take my man. I love Jolene, and it has got an amazing beat. It's produced so beautifully. Whenever it comes on, you just go, okay, tell me what's better.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
You took a song like Respect, which became monstrously huge. It had been Otis Redding's song, but you kind of played around with it.
Yeah, a little bit. Respect. My sister and I, Carolyn, it was a local cliche, Sock It To Me, in Detroit.
Yeah.
And we just fit it into the song. And then Laugh-In came along, and they took it another 1,000,000 miles.
Supposedly, when he heard the song, he said, Aretha just stole my song.
I heard he said that, but I loved his version of it. You know, Otis Redding had a way with a song, and he could sing it like no other. Once he got his teeth into it, he was into it. Yeah, few could follow him.
That song, it ended up meaning a lot of different things to a lot of people, but it also ended up having a lot of political weight to it, which it may not have been by design, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, it was not by design, but Sock It To Me, I was talking about the male-female relationship, but it also became, the respect part of it became a mantra for the civil rights movement and for peoples everywhere. Everybody wanted respect. Who doesn't want respect?
Right.
You know, children, adults alike. Everybody wanted respect.
One singular sensation, every little step she takes.
This song on the surface feels like a classic American song. It's jazzy and glitzy and very Americana. But the reason I think it's more interesting is because actually the song is this manifestation of this show that you're watching about people from all walks of life, from all parts of America, desperately trying to get into this show. And it's a story of their ambition, their struggles, their anxieties, their terrors, and their hopes. And then it all comes out in this glitzy song. There's something about kind of putting on a smiling face that feels very like American to me.
You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you.
Ever
everybody thinks You're So Vain is about Mick Jagger.
Oh, they don't really?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Is it?
Oh, no.
And then I read it might be Warren Beatty.
Oh, you know, don't listen to what other people tell you.
Well, do you want to solve that mystery here for us?
You know, I could never solve it, because if I solved it, then no one would have anything to talk to me about.
Get your kicks on Route 66.
The song I choose is Route 66. I think of it as the national anthem of America at its most confident and expansive and inclusive. You're not a real American if you haven't taken a road trip. You can be from any part of the world, you can have any nationality, but if you have taken an American road trip, that qualifies as American from my point of view. America is no one place, it's a whole composite of places, and Route 66 captures a lot of that for me.
And I'll be there. You've got a friend.
Is there any particular song that you wrote that you could just look at and put your finger on? You know what? That's a Carole King song.
Well, acknowledging that I had help, You've Got a Friend. Absolutely quintessential, I think. It's about a feeling, it's uplifting, I don't know, that would be it.
You said you didn't always like it. Was what changed your mind about
I used to worry about whether the audience would like me or not. And James Taylor helped me through that, because he introduced me to the audience in a way that they were going to like me. He said, here are all your favorite songs, and listed a few of them. You know, said, this woman wrote them. So I came on, I call it pre-loved. They were ready to say, okay, cool.
That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion.
Song that I picked was "Losing My Religion" by R.E.M. I just think it's the most important R.E.M. song. From the opening, the mandolin, and then you know when Mike drops in the bass, that whole everything about that song is so R.E.M. And I think R.E.M. is a quintessential American man. You know, they took their influences and came up with a sound that were totally their own, and then had a lot of people want to be like them afterwards. And I just think "Losing My Religion" is that song. It's perfect. It's one of those songs that you can't hear it enough. You know, it doesn't get played like it used to, but when it comes on the radio or when it comes on a playlist or when it comes on something today, you never turn it off. You're just so happy it's on.
Take it easy, baby. Make it last all night. She was an American girl.
I read there were 169 takes of American Girl.
Yeah.
How do you pick?
Well, one's always going to be better than another for some reason, you know. I mean, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you'll have two or three that are really good, but you know, you kind of all know, you know. It's really by committee, you know. By the three of us have to all say, yeah, that's it. And that was one of the toughest ones because it was played in almost every show.
Right.
So we just had so many takes of it, you know.
Right. So what was, did you have sort of a gut instinct with these things?
Yeah, you know, if you put something up, I'm just looking for it to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And if it feels good and nobody made a terrible mistake, it's probably the one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
The song I chose is Stevie Wonder's Happy Birthday. I think it is such a reflection of the power that American artists, music has on our culture and on American history. So Stevie Wonder was really used as activism in support to make Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a national holiday. And so this song, while it seems like this warm celebration, it was really a way for us to show the impact that Martin Luther King Jr. had on America. And now it's a national holiday. I'm a Black woman. I grew up in a Black household. So this was our birthday song. Like, this is what we sang on birthday. So it's definitely a song I think of when I think about you know, American music and songs that have made an impact, you know, just beyond making people feel good.
Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. It's certain songs that you have to do in your concert, otherwise the people will feel cheated. If I don't sing Georgia, for some reason the people don't feel that they got the whole concert.
I love that this song gets chosen and covered by pretty much every great female artist that has ever come across our paths. I think that, Aretha, for me, being the definitive, it feels proud and feminist and about love and connection, but it feels like it really celebrates the woman, and I love it. There is some kind of a combination of a simplicity and an immediacy to the lyric. And when this chord progression begins, I don't know if it's a chicken or the egg thing. You feel like you know where the song is going. And is it because you've heard the song before, or is it because, there's just something familiar about the music? It feels ancient.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses?
Desperado was never released as a single, not by us nor by Linda Ronstadt.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but it's become, over time, it's become sort of a classic, beloved piece of material, but it was never a single.
That was the first time that you wrote a song with Glenn Frey?
That's right.
Did you immediately click as songwriting partners?
Yeah, I think we did. That was the first time we'd written together, and I'd rented this little cabin up at the top of Laurel Canyon, and he came over, and I had an old upright piano in there, and I had beginnings of the song that I had started back in like '69 or '68 or something like that. And I showed him the bits and pieces that I had, and he sat down at the piano. And it was sort of based on an old American songwriter who at one point in time was America's most popular songwriter, a guy named Stephen Foster, who died penniless in New York City. But it was based on his songs that my grandmother used to sing in her rocking chair. And Glenn knew who Stephen Foster was. And just sort of picked up the thread and went with it.
Truckin', got my chips cashed in, keep truckin'.
The song I chose is Truckin' by the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead are, I think, the greatest American folk rock band that ever was and ever will be. And Truckin' is just the ultimate song about tripping through America on the road. America is so vast, and I think Truckin' really represents the spirit of just trucking coast to coast, the entire spirit and the vibe and the groove, and just the purely American energy.
How do you write a song? How do you go about it? Does it just come to you in the night and you write down a title?
That too.
Take me through that.
Well, it's different every time. I got notepads and pencils everywhere, just like I have my reading glasses now. I got 1,000 of them scattered everywhere. But I have my tape recorders, little ones, big ones, little dictaphones, anything, wherever I'm at. I never know if I don't want to lose a melody, so I always try to, if something comes. Sometimes a tune will come to me. Sometimes the words will come. Sometimes they come together. I just never know. Things just fly at me, and I just try to reach out and and get them. When they come back because I don't want to miss it. I don't always have time to finish it, or if I'll start something, I think the title's better than this song's turning out, so I better get back to that later. Or sometimes, you know, it's like you have to work. It's a work in progress. But sometimes a song will just come right out and just roll right out in just a few minutes, the whole thing. That often happens.
Well, give me an example of that.
Well, I Will Always Love You is a good example. One of the biggest songs I ever wrote. I wrote that during the time 30-some years ago when I actually was in, I don't know if it's been, it's in 72, so I think when I wrote it, when I was leaving the Porter Wagoner show. It was a show that I was with for years. I spent 7 years with the show, and we had a lot of success, and Porter was very beneficial in my life at that time. And I was very hurt because I wanted to leave the show, and I had told him I'd stay for 5 years, and we were doing so good, and I understood why he didn't want me to go, but I knew I didn't want to just be a girl singer, you know, in somebody else's show. I wanted to go on out. But he was having a real hard time with it, and and I was having a hard time with it too. And I thought, you know, he wouldn't listen to me because he's so stubborn, and and so I thought, you know, I best just write something. He'll understand that. So I just remember sitting down the night. I thought, well, I got to do something because my heart's breaking and his is too, and I can't fight no more about it. So I just started, writing what was coming out. Like, if I should stay, I would only be in your way. So I'll go. But I know I'll think of you each step of the way, and it's like, I hope life treats you kind, and I hope you have all you ever dreamed of. I wish you joy and happiness, and above all this, I wish you love. And I'll always love you, but it's like, I have to go. It's like, it's one of those. So that song just flowed completely out. It just came out, and I wrote that song in I didn't time it because I didn't know at that time it was going to be such a big hit, but I bet that song didn't take me more than an hour to write. With the melody and the whole song.
And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you.
The song that I've chosen is called Make Them Hear You from the musical Ragtime. It's a glorious score and a glorious musical, but there's a song in it that has to do so many things, and Make Them Hear You is that song. It is, for all practical purposes, the 11 o'clock number, which in the music world means it is the number that everything builds to. It's the one where you've had all these great songs and dances and storytelling up until you're about 10 minutes from the end of the show, and you need something to blow the roof off. One day, as the lyric says, and justice will be served by 1 million righteous men. Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be near you again. That song achieves the impossible in that show. It not only sends the onstage characters out going, oh my God, I have a mission to serve my community in this country, kind of sends the audience out that way too.
A song like Sweet Caroline, which, seems like it'll be around forever now. I mean, it was not a #1 song. It was it was like number 4, I guess. But, I mean, songs develop their own life almost, don't they?
They do. And it almost doesn't matter what place on the charts they are. If a song is in the top 10 or top 20, it got a lot of airplay, and a lot of people know it. Beyond that, it's in the hands of the gods.
I picked Rhapsody in Blue, which is this extraordinarily composition by a first-generation immigrant named George Gershwin. It's this utterly American mix of blues, black music, the beginnings, the hints of this upcoming movement of swing. It's all about who we are, and it's one of the most beautiful pieces of music with lots of movement, and everybody is drawn to it as almost a magnetic force. It goes da 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 dee, and there's something that those chords do within me, no matter how many thousands of times I've heard it, that just move me to my core.
I had always envisioned myself as being a quiet singer, and but I had this thought in my mind, if I go back, I'm going to try and take show business by storm. So that was an idea for the Quiet Storm, and I recorded this album, A Quiet Storm, and the album was a really big hit for me, And that was when I first started to go back on the road and have a band and do all those things like that.
God only knows what I'd be without you.
God Only Knows was a song that you wrote for your brother Carl. And you have talked about the fact that you two prayed together when you were working on that
Right, we prayed
song.
for love for people, yeah. We prayed for people.
And you wrote it for his voice. You didn't sing it
No,
yourself.
I wrote it for him. We wrote it for him.
Did you want to sing all the songs yourself, or did you like writing them
No,
for other
I
people?
like writing for other people a lot. I got off on it pretty heavy, yeah.
So when you heard your brother singing something you'd created,
Right? It was kind of like a thrill. A satisfying feeling.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius.
Can you tell us the story of how you discovered Aquarius? How you?
Oh, my
it
God.
started with, I believe, a lost wallet.
Yeah, that's right. It was me. I lost my wallet in New York. We were performing at the Americana Hotel at the Royal Box. And I went out shopping that day, and for some reason I lost my wallet, and it happened to fall in the cab. About a half hour later, about an hour or so, I got a call, and the guy said, "Is this Billy Davis Jr.?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I got your wallet." I said, "What?" And to make a long story short, I said, "Well, hold on, give me your address, let me come over and get it." So I did. I went over, and I offered him some money. He didn't want to take it. And so I invited him over to come and see the Fifth Dimension show and at the Royal Box. And so he came over, and he saw the show that night, and then he came backstage, and he said, "Billy, he said, you guys are wonderful. We love the show." He said, "But since you were so nice, I'd like to invite you to see our show." And we said, "Well, what show is that?" Come to find out, he was one of the producers of Hair. Hair was the biggest production on Broadway at that time. We had been trying to get in to see this production because, you know, that was the only production where everybody was, the first time everybody got naked on stage, you know. And
That was what drove you.
They had lines out there with people trying to see what was going on, you know. Well, quite naturally, we wanted to see it too. But anyway, when we got there, we saw this young kid, Ronnie Dyson, singing Aquarius. And he was just, his voice was just ringing through the auditorium. And so we said, we all got together and said, "Hey, we have to do this song. This is our song."
So we called our producer, Bones Howe, and said, "Bones, we've heard the next hit for the group." And we were so excited about the song.
Yeah.
So we told him about it, and he said, "Well, I'm not sure about that." He said, "Because other people have recorded it and nothing's happened with
Yeah.
it." He said, "But let me think about it." So Bones, we thought about it for a couple of weeks, and he came back to us, and he said, "I think I've come up with a way where we can make the song work." And he came up with the idea of putting "Let the Sun Shine In" with Aquarius.
Yeah, with Flesh.
Because it's not that way in the show. They're separated. They're two separate
Two
songs.
separate songs, right. In fact, "Let the Sun Shine In" was called Flesh Failures.
It was from Flesh Failures.
From
right.
that, yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, so he put them both together, and the rest was history on that. Yeah.
I'm going to Graceland, Graceland, to Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to Graceland.
When I was making Graceland, I thought, I just love this. And as it turned out, other people loved it, but you couldn't have said in advance, well, there's just a hunger for South African music combined with American culture.
Sure.
It didn't exist, but it did satiate some hunger.
What I came up with was a song that came out in 1977 by the rock group Styx. You've probably heard of it before. It was one of their biggest hits. It was called "Come Sail Away." This song, it invokes a time-honored, time-tested metaphor of being on the open sea, on a journey to the unknown, and to have that journey represent one's own life. But also, as you move through, and as this journey progresses, it leaves the terrestrial realm and ascends to that of the divine. There's a point in the song that goes, "There's a gathering of angels appeared above my head." inviting you to come sail away. So now the journey is not just simply terrestrial, but it's divine. And this song, being of the era, the 1970s, has its dose of electronic synthesized music, very common in the day. And as I said, this is no exception to that. But right after you hear about the Angels, there's a long interlude of this electronic music. And you're pretty much thinking the song lands there, but it doesn't. It keeps going. And even people who are fans of the song and know it well, I have found many of them don't realize that the song is a literal, not figurative, a literal alien abduction. Oh my gosh. So one of the last lines of the song, before it goes to the refrain, is, I thought that they were angels, but to my surprise, I climbed aboard their starship and headed for the skies. So we ascend from the terrestrial to the divine to the cosmic. When I think of the trajectory of America, yeah, we did some wandering in our morals, in our what kind of progressive changes were necessary to be the country that we could all be proud of. And then we ascended to the stars. Yeah, we went to the moon. You know, an interesting thing, when we got to the moon, we looked back over our shoulder and we discovered Earth for the first time. Like many songs of the era, Come Sail Away begins softly and then it builds. It builds in a way that we can describe as anthemic, and has a kind of an anthem feel to it. There's a bit of mystery, a bit of intrigue, it's a bit of metaphor for the United States and where we've come from, where we are, and where we hope we want to take the country together.
It's you that I'm thinking of, hey, misbehavin', saving my love for you.
Ain't Misbehavin', an unbelievable song by Fats Waller with lyrics by Andy Ratzoff. It's written in 1929. It's such an exuberant, wonderful, utterly American tune. Louis Armstrong is the most important person in American music. He is to music, I did not say jazz, what Einstein is to physics and what the Wright brothers are to travel. There is contained in Ain't Misbehavin' all of the joyousness of American jazz, of improvisation, of the beauty and unequaled exuberance of the American songbook.
A dancer like Martha Graham, for example, her style of dancing was so very well known to me that I was really putting her to music when I wrote Appalachian Spring. I'm very amused because very often people have said to me, when I hear that score of yours, I can just see the Appalachians and feel spring. The fact is, when I wrote it, I had no idea what she was going to call it. I was thinking about Martha Graham and putting her style of dancing to music, you see. But now myself, when I hear the work, I sort of see the Appalachians.
Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player.
The song I picked was Notorious Big Poppa. And once again, it's not my favorite Notorious Big song, but I think it is one of the most important songs in the history of music. And I mean, I won't say rap music, I say in the history of the music. Rap was already big and everything, but when he came out, it was just different. It felt different. I mean, he brought, I think, people in that wasn't listening to rap. I mean, when I first heard Big Poppa, I remember, I can tell you the first time I heard this song. You know, it was a 4th of July, and I'm by myself, and so I go to Blockbuster, and I rent this video called that Russell Simmons did called The Show. And I'm watching this video, and Big Poppa comes on, and I watched it, no exaggeration, I watched it 30, 40 times in a row. I couldn't believe how great it was. And I kept saying to myself, how do I not know everything about this guy? That song, the melody, the delivery, and the one thing I think that's so prevalent in so many great American songs, great songs, is the chorus. The chorus, the payoff is so worth it. You know, I love it when you call me Big Papa, throw your hands in the air if you're a true player. I mean, goodness gracious, it's just genius.
Good vibrations, good vibes, excitations, good vibrations.
Good Vibrations.
Right.
People compare it to a symphony.
Yeah, a little symphony, a symphonic record. It was a very good record. It was a great record.
How did that come about?
Well, my mom used to say, you know, dogs bark at some people and not bark at others because they pick up vibrations from some people that threaten them. And later on in my life, I said, you know, that my mom had that about vibrations. What about a song called Good Vibrations? So we did that. Mike and I cut it and wrote a record called Good Vibrations.
The melodies and all of the harmonies around that in particular are some of the most interesting ever written for a rock song.
Yeah, it was. It took us about 2 weeks to do it. We had to work very hard to get it done. We got it done in about 2 weeks.
Did you say to yourselves while you were doing it, this is really different, this is not your everyday rock and roll song?
Oh yeah. We knew from the start we were into something good. We knew that.